covering the Northern Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The country observing the Labor Day holiday on Friday, and as labor leaders continue to fight for the rights of workers, a local pastor is calling for change as we chart the way forward. Sabrina Brown reports.
As workers in the country were celebrated over the weekend, Senior Pastor of Living Water Assembly of God, Eddie Victor, during his Sunday morning worship service, said leaders of this nation must seek God's guidance as they move to take the country forward.
The problem that we face, no man could solve. The problems that we face requires us to recognize that God is the Lord of this country. And if you're going to change the direction of this country and also change the prosperity of the people, you need to get strategies from God.
He said unions continue to play a vital role in the development of our country, and he's calling for a greater level of respect for the trade union movement.
When it came to independence, pastors and union leaders had great influence on the framing of the Constitution. A lot of people don't understand that. And it amazes me that even now that we have situations where unions are actually being vilified, unions are actually being seen, being portrayed as evil workers, but no, all they're doing is trying to fight for the rights of the people.
The local clergyman is also appealing to Bahamians to unite for a better Bahamas.
All of us, we got to unite together. We may have problems with the workplace, but we have a greater challenge. How do we take this country and possess it for God? Because when we possess it for God, God will bless us. This is our inheritance. We are the inheritance of the Bahamas. We need to look at this country a lot different, because what we do now will affect our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Sabrina. Local medical officials welcoming the proposed changes to the country's breadbasket items. The government has fulfilled its election campaign promise and will remove VAT from breadbasket items come August 1st. But Clinical Director at the Grand Bahama Health Services, Dr. Tiadra Dorset Johnson, says it is the proposed overhaul of the breadbasket that should ensure that residents are able to afford healthier food choices. She notes that this is also in keeping with the World Health Organization's objectives.
In terms of reducing salt intake, taxing on tobacco and other high-calorie food items. So I think in order to meet the goal to reduce the incidence of new diabetes, new high blood pressure, as well as complications that we see all over in the hospitals related to inpatient stroke, heart attack, and other complications, kidney failure. This is the burden, it's causing a burden on the healthcare system. So we have to move from tertiary prevention, like, treating and managing persons with the complications, to primary prevention. And so primary prevention means for all, the whole population may benefit when you look at, increasing access to fruits and vegetables, healthier options.
Senior dietitian Jordan Bowe also commending the government for the move. She believes that this has been a long time coming.
When we think about nutrition and physical activity choices, there are many factors that influence those decisions. One of the major contributing factors that, as you mentioned, a lot of Bahamians say is cost. It's too expensive. And so with the reform, it's really just making those items that are healthier, more of your fruits and your vegetables, the same things that as a dietitian in my practice, I hear patients say that, well, it's going to be very difficult for me to adhere to this diet because the things that you're telling me that I should have is going to be too expensive. This is now making those items more affordable. And so the fruits and vegetables are going to be more affordable. Your leaner white meats, more beans, peas, nuts, and it's really removing some of the items that are not very healthy.
And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Welcome. As I mentioned previously, each year we commemorate Lupus Awareness Month in May. On today's segment, I will answer Michelle's final question. Do people with lupus have to follow a special diet? Again, Michelle, thank you for all your great questions on lupus, and the short answer is yes. When the disease is active, also known as a lupus flare, there may be some dietary restrictions. The doctor, along with the dietitian, will determine the best diet. If someone develops kidney disease as a result of lupus, this is what we call lupus nephritis, they may need to eat less protein. This is because most persons with lupus nephritis have protein in their urine, which in large amounts can cause further kidney damage. If high blood pressure is a factor, persons should not only eat a low-salt diet, but should take their blood pressure medications as prescribed by their doctor, because poorly controlled blood pressure in someone with lupus will not only cause further damage to the kidneys, but to the heart as well. If being overweight is an issue, weight loss can also help with achieving better blood pressure control, but it's important to speak with your doctor before starting any exercise program. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away. A look at sports is next, right after this break.